Hi guys, Senator Rennick, People First Party. Yesterday in Washington, in one of his last acts, former President, now Joe Biden, gave Anthony Fauci a pardon for crimes that he hasn't yet been charged with. I think we all know what those crimes are, and that is, of course, is that Anthony Fauci himself was responsible for the release of the COVID-19 virus in China. In 2017, in January 2017 at Georgetown University, he actually warned that there would be a threat to the upcoming administration in the realm of infectious diseases and that there would be a surprise outbreak. Him and a mate of his, Ric Bright from BARDA at the Millikan Institute in October 2019, warned about an entity of excitement in regards to vaccines. So it would seem very obvious that Anthony Fauci knew all along that there would be a release of an infectious disease, i.e. COVID-19, and that he has basically been covering up and lying about it the whole time. Now, in my view, the reason why this was allowed to happen, and of course the intelligence agencies would have been in on this, was that they wanted to remove Donald Trump from office in 2020 and get Joe Biden in there. And the way they did that was to create a pandemic where everyone had to stay inside, including Joe Biden, because God knows had he been allowed to campaign, people would have quickly seen just how demented he was. And as well as that, they were then able to justify the use of a high number of postal votes, which, as we all know, it's very highly likely that the 2020 election was actually rigged as a result of those postal ballots. Now, the reason and the outcome of all of this, of course, was to start the Ukraine war, to justify blowing up the Nordstream pipeline, which then guaranteed that, or stopped Russia from selling energy gas into Europe. And that then made the European nations dependent upon US companies' oil and forced US countries into using the petrodollar. A very similar thing to what happened in Iraq in 2003, where Saddam had to be taken out because he threatened to use the euro and not the US dollars in payments for the oil transactions. Now, the other thing, of course, was I strongly believe that Hamas attack on October the 7th was also a false flag designed to distract attention from the fact that Al-Qaeda was allowed to move into Syria. I mean, the lack of reporting on the fact that Al-Qaeda, the same entity that apparently blew up, the Twin Towers in September the 11th, is now working with the US administration in Syria is just absurd. But this is what was allowed to happen. There is the consequences of what Anthony Fauci was allowed to get away with was enormous. And when I say Anthony Fauci and all the associated players with it, so, Christian Anderson, all those emails that went back and forth between a number of scientists, including our own Edward Holmes here in Australia, working on the cover-up of the COVID, all of this needs to be revealed. And we need to take action here. I mean, if there's only one good thing about Joe Biden, and it's not really a good thing, is that he's actually exposed just how corrupt and crooked the deep state is. And let's hope, I'll believe it when I see it, that Trump can actually drain the swamp, because God knows if he doesn't, these particular actors, whoever they are, will destroy the West if we allow them.